Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Samasta Janakalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadguram Brahmavidvaram Sadguram Brahmavidvaram Om Partaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Graditam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayiniim Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshiniim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvanti Devyaistavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopaniषदैः Gayanti Yam Samagah Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam na Vidusura Suraganah Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Hari Om. Bhagavan Sri Krishna told Arjuna, karmas, actions by themselves, do not bind a person. What binds us is the attachment to the actions and the attachment to the results of action. That's what binds us. And then he cited himself as an example. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spruha iti mam yobhijanati karma birna sapadyate. He said, look, I ever remain involved in action. I do everything. Even then, I'm untouched by all these actions, untainted by my actions, unaffected by those actions. I am insulated from all those actions. I am asangah. I'm unattached. Not only the actions do not bind me, the results of actions also do not bind me. I'm not bound by any of that, either the actions or the results. And he further added, anyone who knows this tattvam, this truth, and lives his or her life in that way, in that manner, that person will also be free, will not be bound. So just like Bhagavan is not bound by his actions, anyone can also be not bound, provided one gains the jnana, he becomes a jnani. The one who has no sense of doership and enjoyership is free. Yevam jnatva kritam karma purvairapi mumukshubhihi kuru karmaiva tasmatvam purvaih purvataram kritam. So you understand it this way, and doing so, you also act. This knowledge, this method has been employed very successfully. And actions were done in the past for a long time by so many seekers. And by doing so, they gain self-knowledge. Atma Jnanam they gain. But this topic of karma is really baffling. It's extremely subtle. Many times you come under situations not knowing what is right and what is wrong. Now comes a beautiful set of verses, profound discussion, deep thought. Kim karma kima karmeti kavayopyatra mohitah tatte karma pravakshyami yatnyatva mokshase ashubhat. What is action? What is inaction? Even the wise are confused. Kavayah api mohitah. The wise people are confused about that. I'll tell you what it's all about. And knowing that, you will be free from all problems. What is the secret of action? And you may think, what is there after all? Do something, that is action. Don't do anything, that is inaction. Simple? No, it's not that simple. And Bhagavan expounds. He explains how it is not that simple. Very interesting discussion. Let us see. Verse 17. Karmano hyapi bodhavyam. Karmano hyapi bodhavyam. Bodhavyam cha vikarmanah. Bodhavyam cha vikarmanah. Akarmanascha bodhavyam. Akarmanascha bodhavyam. Gahana karmano gatihi. Gahana karmano gatihi. Karmano hyapi bodhavyam. Bodhavyam cha vikarmanah. Akarmanascha bodhavyam. Gahana karmano gatihi. Therefore, Bhagavan says, not only am I going to teach you about karma, action, I will also teach you two other allied topics. Two other topics that are connected, that go along with this topic of karma. So in all, I will teach you about three things. So he says, you have to karmanaha hi api bodhavyam. Bodhavyam, clearly know. You should clearly know what is the nature of karma. What is action, you must know. Then vikarmanaha cha bodhavyam. You must also know vikarma, viparita karma, wrong actions. Nishiddha karma, prohibited actions. What they are, you must know. And finally, the third one is akarmanascha bodhavyam. You must know about akarma, inaction. So in all, you must know these three things: action, wrong actions, and inaction. You have to understand all these three thoroughly. And without that, you will have problems. Ultimately, knowledge is power. We should take the initiative. It behooves on our part to know about this karma. This doesn't come naturally. So we have to do some work to clearly understand the complete implication about this karma. Now let us see all the nuances relating to this word karma. This word karma comes from the dhatu. The root is kr, which means to do. When we see the word karma, what comes to our mind? Doing some action. Simplest meaning is chalanatmakam karma. Chalana, some movement. Some movement is there. We call that action. Very simple definition. Not that it is wrong, it is just a simple definition. Bhagwan himself said in the 3rd chapter, verse 5, Nahi kashit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit. Not even for a moment can a person be without doing some action. Some movement will be there. Nothing else. Some cheshta will be there. People will be cracking their knuckles, twirling pen or pencil in their hands. Something or other they will do. It will be there. Some moment will be there. So, chalanatmakam karma, that is one. And then, akarma, no movement at all. Total stillness. Such definition, such explanation, it's very simple level. And Bhagwan just now said, even the wise are confused about karma. If it were that simple, why would the wise people be confused? So it cannot be as simple as that. And he also said, kuru karma, do action. And without karma, even the body cannot survive. All that we have seen. So just some movement will not make an action. He has also added another term, vikarma. So we have to look for a deeper meaning. So we have to know what karma is. It is Shastra Vihita karma. Kartavya karma. That action that is prescribed. What is enjoined in the scriptures. That is the karma we are talking about. If the guru tells you do this action, you must do it. Bhagwan has said, we've seen, Niyatam kuru karmatvam in the 8th verse of the 3rd chapter. And then he also said, Karyam karma samachara kuru. Do all those actions very well. So only these actions are meant. Kartavya karma. Therefore, I must know what is my kartavya karma, bounden duty. My duty that I have to those actions that I must do. I must know what is my duty as a father, as a mother. What is my duty as a husband or wife? What is my duty as a son or daughter? Hmm? What is my duty as a teacher? I should know. As a student, he should know what his duty is. As an employer, I hire a lot of people are working for me. What are my duties? I need to take care of my employees. I should know. Of course, as an employee, I must know what my job is and do it. Citizen of a country, a leader. You wonder how many leaders in this day and age and know what the duties are, the way things are turning around all over the world. You wonder. Mhm. And followers, oh, beautiful followers. They follow such leader and make life even more miserable because they don't know what karma is, true karma is. I must know what the Shastra, the scriptures have said about all these roles. This is what is known as karma. So this is karmana hi api bodhavyam. What is to be known, what is known as the nature of karma. Okay. Then what is this vikarma? Vikarma means viparita karma. That is Shastra Nishiddha. Those actions that are prohibited by the scriptures. I must know what I should do, fine, but I must know what I should not do. Very important. Ignorance of the law is not an acceptable defense, even in common law. I didn't know. I don't know I have to file my taxes. I didn't know that I have to disclose all my income. Okay. All right. The tax deadline in the US is coming up in about 10 days. You better study fast and get to know it fast. Yeah. So, ignorance of the law is not a defense at all. Violence, himsa, asatyam, untruth, steyam, stealing. So many actions prohibited, you must not do. So I must vikarmanahacha bodhavyam. Know what actions are prohibited so that I don't do them even unknowingly. So we must know what they are and make sure you do not do them. You should avoid prohibited actions. Then we come to akarma. Person may be engaging himself or herself in the performance of duty or in some prohibited action. Suppose one does not do both of them, doesn't do anything. Will that be akarma? Not doing one's kartavya karma, will that constitute akarma? No. Or in sleep, what are you doing? Sleep, you do nothing. Totally turned off with the world. You don't engage in the world. Is that akarma? No. We've already seen in the second chapter the famous verse 47, Mate Samgostu Akarmani. Do not be attached to inaction. With all these complexities, no wonder Bhagavan says here, Karmanaha Gatihi Gahana. The nature, Karmanaha Gatihi, of action is Gahana, very subtle, very deep, very profound, unfathomable. Nature of action is extremely subtle. Without Guru Shastra Upadesha, you cannot figure it out. This is how the Lord introduces Jnanam as the insulating material for the performance of action. Hereafter, he enters into that knowledge. And he does it so in style. Next verse, stylish presentation, very elegant. He first gives us a shock. Let us read the next verse. Karmanya karmaya pashyet. Karmanya karmaya pashyet. Akarmani cha karmaya. Akarmani cha karmaya. Sabuddhiman manusyeshu. Sabuddhiman manusyeshu. Sayuktah krishna karma krite. Sayuktah krishna karma krite. Karmanya karmaya paschet. Akarmani cha karmaya. Sabuddhiman manusyeshu. Sayuktah krishna karma krite. So from this 18th verse till the 24th verse, Bhagavan deals with knowledge, jnana, as the solution for all human problems. This set of verses is the main portion of this 4th chapter. This is extremely important, not only for this chapter, but for the entire Gita. In this section, in this set of verses, he condenses the entire teachings of all Upanishads. Bhagavad Gita is given the status of Upanishads. Upanishads itself, because of such portions in Gita. Karma Yoga is not the essence of the Upanishads. Bhakti is not the essence of Upanishads. Even meditation is not the essence. It's only Jnana, which is the very essence of Upanishads. That Jnanam is found in the Gita. We can find that in the 2nd chapter. Mentioned it several times in verses 12 to 25, and now here in this set of verses 18 to 24. The 18th verse, very significant verse. Kind of difficult to understand. As we read, even the translation, when you read, it's confusing. Bhagavan is using the language of contradiction to make us think. He makes us think in this verse. Cannot afford to be distracted when we study this verse. Literal translation of the verse sounds very funny. The first line reads, the wise person sees action in inaction. If you are able to see action in inaction, you are wise. Okay. What do you understand from that? How can you say somebody is wise when he just sees the opposite of what something is? You cannot call him wise. You can at best call him drunk. So we have to probe a little bit more, probe a little deeper into this verse. We have to understand this verse from different standpoints. When an action is done, there are two types of results. One is a physical result. Let us say you're sitting there and your grandchild comes running and lands on your lap. Your long gray beard is within the grasp of the child. The child grabs it, grabs hold of the beard and yanks it. Ouch! It hurts. It is an action. Causes you pain. The pulling of your beard causes you pain. Now, what are you going to do about it? One thing you can do is do what I do. Clean shaven, so the problem itself does not arise. But just in case you don't have that luxury or you choose not to, what are you going to do about it? And what does a typical grandfather would do? How do you see that action? Are you going to say, bad child, bad child? You must be punished. Is he going to say that? No, very unlikely. The most likely outcome is, oh, my dear grandchild. Oh, she was just playing with me out of love. She just pulled my beard. She didn't really realize it's going to hurt me. So forget about it. In that action of the child, karmani, akarma pashyasi. Because your gray beard is indicative of your wisdom. In that karma, you only see akarma in action. The rationale is that the child has no intention of hurting you. There is no doership in that action. So it's not an action at all. Another simple example, you're sleeping and your spouse sleeping next to you swings her arm in sleep and whacks you in your mouth. It hurts, but will you see it as a deliberate action? You'll say, poor thing, fast asleep, without knowing only she hit me. Let it go. Again, karmani akarma pashyasi. You see inaction in action. Even in common law, if a murderer is found to be insane, he's not punished for that action because the law sees inaction in that action of the individual who is insane. The second pada of the verse says, akarmanicha karma. Action in inaction. Person may be just sitting, apparently doing nothing. So it may appear to be just a karma. If that sitting is with a sense of doership, it's a deliberate act. Then just sitting, the so-called akarma, is karma only. Sometimes children, they don't like something. So mom prepared some dish. The kid doesn't like. No, I want it. Sitting at the dining table, your dinner plate is in front of you and the food is served. No. Is that inaction? Suppose you are a witness to a crime, a theft, looting, or even murder, let us say, and you do nothing about it. This is an action. You've done nothing, but even calm Allah may find you to be an accessory to that crime. Worse, you may be wearing an ochre robe, sitting under a tree. People may be coming prostrating to you. But your mind is roaming about in vulgar things. Possible? The third chapter, verse 6, you may remember, we saw, Karmendriyani sanyamya ya aste manasasmaran indriyarthan vimudhatma mityachara sa uchyate. This man is sitting, all sense organs well controlled. Nothing. They are not engaged in any action. But the mind dwelling in sense pleasures. So what is this Babaji doing? He is only a mithyachara. His conduct is bad. He's a hypocrite. It may look like he's not doing any action, but his mind is vigorously acting. Vigorously acting. This is akarmani karma. Action in inaction. So it's the presence of doership that determines action. With doership, with kartrutva, even an apparent inaction will become an action. And without doership, without the kartrutva, even an action will be inaction only. Wait, there is more. We looked at the two contradictory statements from the Karma Yoga standpoint. Now from Jnana standpoint, take Tattva Jnana. The words can be understood when we know the basic teaching of Vedanta. There are two parts in every individual personality. One is the body-mind complex called Anatma, Dehamsha. The second part is the consciousness principle, which pervades the body-mind complex, because of which alone that BMI is sentient. The otherwise inert body, mind, etc. becomes sentient only because of that consciousness. If you take the incandescent bulb that is switched on, the bulb has two parts. The parts of the bulb, like the filament, there is the outer shell and everything. When the bulb is switched off, it doesn't give any light. When it is switched on, the same bulb gives light. In that, the second part is invisible. That is electricity that flows through the bulb, makes it glow. That electricity is independent of the bulb. Even after the bulb burns out, the electricity will continue. Similarly, body-mind complex is blessed by the independent entity called consciousness and is therefore alive and well, capable of transacting in this world. The consciousness, Atma, and body-mind is Anatma. The consciousness principle is called Dehi, the embodied. Body-mind principle is called Deha, body, sometimes called Ahankara. Studied about the nature of Atma elaborately in the second chapter. There we saw Atma is one and Anatmas are many. Atma is all-pervading, Anatma is limited. Atma is Nitya, Anatma is Anitya. So many differences we saw. When we discussed the various differences, we highlighted one in particular. We will emphasize that difference again here. The consciousness principle, the Atma, being all pervasive, like space. Something that is all pervasive cannot do any action. Even if we go to that simple definition, action involves movement. Physical action involves physical movement. Mental action involves mental movement, which we call thought movement, thought modification. So, chalanatmakam karma, whatever cannot move, cannot do any action. Space cannot do any action because it's there everywhere, all pervasive. Air can move. Air can move within that space. Fire can move. Water can flow. And earth, of course, it moves. So the first lesson that Bhagavan emphasizes in this verse is that Atma, the awareness, the consciousness, the sentience, is ever actionless. It's ever free from karma. The second lesson is the body-mind complex, otherwise called as ahankara or ego, can never be free from action. Even when you see a motionless wall, matter within that wall, those atoms and molecules, so the atoms, many electrons are there, protons there, in motion. Take a small atom, it's in motion. Take the huge galaxy, it is in motion. The earth is rotating on its axis, revolving around the sun. All that is happening. Therefore, at the anatma level, there is perpetual motion. Even at rest, there is motion in a potential form. So, at the level of anatma, karma cannot be given up. At the atma level, karma need not be given up. So, the wisdom is to accept action at the anatma level, never try to escape action. Own up to the actionless. Own up to the actionlessness at the Atma level. Then you can say, I am ever at rest. I am peaceful. I have nothing to do at the Atma level. The Anatma level, some action or other has to be done all the time. This is called Jnana Karma Sanyasa. Remember the title of this chapter? Jnana Karma Sanyasa Yoga. This is what is conveyed in this verse. So Bhagavan says, Karmani akarma yah pashyet. Yah, he who pashyet, sees, akarma, in action, karmani, in action. He is wise. The wise man sees actionlessness of the Atma, the permanent peace of Atma, even when there is vigorous activity at the Anatma level. He does not try to find peace by stopping that action, but discovers his peace in spite of action. Many people say they will come to Vedanta once they retire, or when my children are grown and married. At that time, they stop coming even for one class per week. Why? Situation has changed. They're just doing a different type of action now, that's all. So never look for leisure at the end of action. Discover leisure amidst action. So the jnani sees the inner actionlessness in the middle of outer activities. Identified with Atma, he sees the actionlessness. Naishkarma siddhi we talked about. Outer action is all at the level of anatma. He sees anatmanah karmani, action of the not self, and atmanah akarma, inaction of the self. The one who sees the actionlessness of the atma in the actions of the anatma, he is wise. Even when the body and the mind both are extremely active, the consciousness principle that enlivens them does nothing at all. The jnani turns his attention toward the Atma. He is identified with that consciousness principle. The characters move on the movie screen, but the screen on which the images are projected does not move. Life is a movie in which the awareness is the screen. Happenings are characters in motion. Turn your attention to the motionless truth. Enjoy the movie, all right. Enjoy the life and everything it offers. But you ever be established in that Atma. Then akarmanicha karma yah pashyati. The one who sees action in action. Again, he is wise. How is that possible? Bhagavan points out that when the body mind is resting, either during sleep or at any other time, it seems that anatma is actionless. That's what everybody will say. Even at that time, the Lord says, there are actions in a potential form. When you go to sleep, all that needs to be done the next day, that long to-do list, it's all there in your mind. When you're asleep, they're not apparently there. When you wake up, boom, all those spring back to your mind. Got to do this today, that today, got to run this one, all that. What happened to all those actions? All those thoughts, what happened to them during the sleep? They are not absent. They just took a break. They're just waiting in a seed form. So the wise person sees the potential action, karma, in akarmani, the actionlessness of the body-mind complex. Body-mind complex is ever active, either explicitly active or potentially active. Whereas Atma is ever actionless. And the wise man is aware of this fact. Whenever actions begin to overwhelm a person, he begins to look for some place or situation that is free from all the disturbances. He seeks Shantam, Shivam. The only place that is eternally calm, quiet, peaceful is your own Swarupa, your own nature as Atman. If only I know how to tap into that Shanta Swarupa, that is the inner strength. So the wise man, even while he's engaged in action, is able to enjoy that inner peace, tranquility, serenity with proper identification. He identifies with his real nature, Atma, as the Akarta, not doing anything. He is at peace. We do get a glimpse of that in our sleep. We just need to learn to enjoy it while we are awake. So get awakened to your Shanta Swarupa, your real tranquil nature. So a person who views all actions from this Jnana Tattva, Saha Buddhiman, he is the wise man. It's one in a million. Manusheshu, among all human beings, is very rare. He is an Atma Jnani, knower of the self. Sayuktaha, he is the yogi. Well integrated, well united. He is Tattva Jnana Yuktaha. He abides in the knowledge of the self. He is Krishna Karma Krita, one who has performed all karmas. Kritya Krityaha, a man of fulfillment. I have done everything I need to do. He enjoys Purnatvam, fullness, completeness. He has found his fulfillment. He abides in the highest as Atma, the self. He enjoys activities at the Hankara level. The worldly level he enjoys. But without forgetting his true nature at any time. So even in those vigorous activity, there is actionlessness. There is no struggle when acting. He is Purna, fulfilled. He acts not for fulfillment, but from fulfillment. From this viewpoint, from the highest, all karmas are done for Sukhaya Karmani Karoti Loka. All actions are done for happiness by the worldly people. But he has now realized that he is that Satchidananda Atma. He has realized his true nature. That is happiness. He is not looking happiness. He now knows he is happiness. What is there to do? Come back next class. Listen to this a little bit more. Om Purnamatav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.